Welcome to Lovesick, the podcast where we dive into health, wellness, and relationships and their impact on the world today. Come be a part of the discussion and join our community by following us on YouTube, Instagram, and listening wherever you get your favorite podcast. Enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your retreat and workshop. Of course, I've been to a few of them on location years back when Allison actually hosted the retreat in different locations. So I just want to introduce Allison Walker, and she is the founder of Caring Hands Sarcoidosis Foundation. And she's fabulous, as we all know. And she puts these events on, the retreats and workshop, for educational information as well as, relaxation and mental health as well. So I'm really amazed at all the wonderful locations that she selects for her retreats. So today you guys are at, what is it called? Duma Center in Federal Way, Federal Way, Washington. Is that correct?
It's the Duma Space Center in Federal Way, Washington.
Okay, so that is awesome. So now, Allison, I am going to give you the floor.
Okay. Dorothea, we just thank you so much. You have been one of our support system for years. And I think back to 2017 in Tennessee.
Yes, I love
you came on up that mountain. Going up that mountain was a challenge, yes. But that was a great interview. We have it on tape. A lot of our members are no longer here with us, so it's good to look back at memories and, just honor those that have gone on. Now, this year, the theme is mental health while living with a chronic illness. So we just really focusing on different coping skills to put in our toolbox for when the days are a little bit challenging, when life keeps coming at you with different circumstances like everybody's dealing with. You just happen to be dealing with sarcoidosis on top of it, which is a little difficult at times.
So welcome, everyone. And if everyone could kind of go around the table and state your name and what state you're from.
So I'm Scarlett Washlock. I'm from Ohio and I'm 17 years old and I've had sarcoid for 5 years.
I'm Scarlett's mom. I'm Kelly McBride, also from Cleveland, Ohio. And this was something Scarlett wanted to be part of, so we made it happen. So we're glad to be here.
I'm Marian Patesnick. I'm a physical therapist and a group exercise instructor and yoga instructor. And my dad had sarcoidosis, and so did my grandmother. And I have been learning so much, and it's been an honor to be here.
Hello, my name is Miasha Young, and I'm from South Carolina. I recently found out that I had sarcoid. October was the month I got diagnosed. Yeah. And I'm glad to be here.
I'm Lorena Overton. I'm from Oregon, and I have had sarcoidosis, or at least been diagnosed, for a little over 2 years.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcia Colbert. I am from Oregon, and I've had sarcoidosis for 10 years now. I was diagnosed in 2014, and I am a home care worker by profession. I take care of my mom for a living, and we try to take care of each other.
Hey, Marcia.
Hey,
This is the first time I actually got a chance to interact with you face to face. So welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everybody. I'm Annie Lynch, and I'm actually from Washington State. I just live about 20 minutes away from here, and I was diagnosed December 2013.
But I was diagnosed in 94, so this is 30 years. So I'm proud of my 30 years. I'm wearing like a badge.
That's right. That's right.
So thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Let's get started first with Allison. What
Mhm.
is the Caring Hands Sarcoidosis and foundation, and how did that come about?
It came about in 2009, after I had to go off on disability. So, you live a life of service. So then you figure out, well, what am I going to do next? So Caring Hands was born because I needed somebody to talk to. And then I had a great doctor, and he was really kind of providing us information. So our mission is to provide educational and resources to people living with sarcoidosis so you can have a better quality of life. So we have our local support meetings. Then I decided, well, we need to go on a trip. That's how we got to the retreats. The first one was in Brighton, and the medical community embraced us. DMC came, Hempford Hospital came, and at that time we were like at 25, 30 people at the retreat. So it just kept growing, and we've just been a resource for people who, like me, diagnosed and don't have a clue to what is going on. So you never want anyone to feel alone. So that's why Caring Hands is really, I know there's groups that do research and medications and all of that, but we're for advocacy. What do you need? Do you need to know where the doctors are? And even in different states, it's not just Michigan. Do you need a support group? We can put you in contact with that. You just need somebody to talk to, because some people don't have enough money for even toilet paper. Do you need a gift card? So it's all about what you need to get through the day.
And if I were to come to your retreat, what can we expect what's the schedule like, and what kind of activities and things you offer there?
Well, when you come, you're going to get loved on. You're going to eat, because we love to eat. We're going to have professionals that are willing to share their experiences, to teach you what you need to know. Maria's here to teach us some moves, how to stretch. We all have aches and pains, how to deal with them. Karen was here Zooming last night on tips about mental health. A mental health therapist should be one of your doctors on your medical team. There's no shame in having a mental health therapist. So she gave us different tools on that. Later on today, a sarcoidosis specialist from Washington, is going to Zoom in and give us some tips. He said he wanted to have a conversation. He wasn't just going to be a speaker. So I'm just excited to hear what he has to say. So you're going to get resources, you're going to get food, you're going to get some good items, and you're going to get love.
Love it. Yeah. And the support of just, everyone having sarcoidosis and going through different stages of it and years. I would love to hear kind of, everyone's at their different stages of diagnosis, and what were some of those like, and how are you feeling now?
So I started my sarcoidosis journey being told I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I went through about 6 months of kind of going back and forth of being really sick. I do not recall the surgery, but I know they cut right here. It started off in my lungs, and I just caught myself not being able to breathe, and things were getting worse and worse. So I ended up actually eloping from the hospital the night before the surgery I got right here to diagnose me, because the doctors kind of scared me. It was a really invasive surgery that they wanted to do before the one they actually did. And so I finally did return to the hospital, and on June 22nd, 2014, they said it's sarcoidosis. I was like, oh man, I got something that I can't get cured, and what am I gonna do? And so God put on a high dose of prednisone, and within 2 years, I ended up developing a condition called a vascular necrosis of the bone, which broke my hip, well, killed my hip bone, and that ended up being my second surgery. I guess you can say in my adult life. Got a hip replacement from prednisone, and so from there on out, it started hitting my liver and my kidneys. And so it went from my lymph nodes to my liver to my kidneys, and things just kept happening. So I'm still kind of on the same journey where I have to watch those organs. I'm not on as much prednisone as I used to be, but I'm still on a lot of medicine, I guess you could say. And every day is a different challenge. I have my ups and downs. On top of sarcoidosis, I was always really nauseated. And I thought it had something. I thought I had stomach or GI issues, and it ended up being endometriosis. And so back in October of 2020, I ended up in a full hysterectomy because of it. I've been feeling a little bit better from the nauseous stuff, but I continue to fight this journey of sarcoidosis.
Wow, that's a serious journey, and we are so grateful that you are sharing this with us, because we know that it can be hard to be that vulnerable to share what each person is actually going through or what they've already gone through. So just know that every time you share your, personal journey, there is always someone that will listen to our podcast and see our podcast and will connect in some kind of way, whether it's them or a person that they love, a family member, friend, or colleague. Someone will connect to that, to your story. So we're grateful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to write a book about my journey, because it's just been so crazy. I thank God. I don't know if everybody's spiritual, but I thank God for being able to make it for 10 years. June 22nd was my anniversary, and I was counted out after 5. And so it's just truly an honor to be here. And I love meeting all my new warriors and all my beautiful faces of sarcoidosis. And I just really appreciate hearing everybody's journey and look to share mine.
Warriors, it's so important.
Yeah, it is.
Like, that's one of those moments for me. I look around the table, right, and I'm listening to each of you kind of share your journey, and you're at like every stage. We have somebody who just got diagnosed. We have somebody who's really young and beginning this journey really in life, and then but I look across the table at the back and I listen to your story, Marcia and Allison. It's like, 30 years in, and Dorothea is a perfect example of kind of cultivating
40 years plus
in this journey, and so if we can support each other in that way.
Yeah. So I'm definitely, Michael's right. I mean, I'm blessed to unmeasurable blessings. I mean, I know that, and I do believe in the higher and God, because I know if it wasn't for him, I would not be sitting here today, especially my journey. And, I had a really terrible journey myself when I first got diagnosed. Because when I first got diagnosed, she was 5 years old. So she was the only child that I had at that time. So Jada was my inspiration to live because, think about her being 5 and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she won't have her mom. She'll have her dad, but she won't have her mom. And I just kept fighting, even when they didn't even know what was going on with me for like 5 days. And I was like Marcia, they thought I had lymphoma as well. And, you know, but they had no clue of what it was. And back in the day when I had it, like 84, there was hardly any information about this illness. And I was lucky to find just the one page, and that was from the American Lung Association. And that was basically it. So imagine at that point in my life where they're saying, like you said, Marcia, and everybody knows at the table, no known cure, no cause, no known cure. What I was thinking in my 20s when I got diagnosed. And yeah. And so today, you know, I just thank God because, you know, I've had a rough journey. I've had 2 collapsed lungs, you know, one on one side and then one on the other side. Like, I mean, you know, I've been through my journey of everything that's happening that could have gone wrong, but I'm still here. So that's all that matters right now. I'm still here. I guess, you know, I'm just grateful that I am.
Ellie, what was that moment like when, like, the journey to find out that your daughter has been diagnosed, especially at a young age like that? Did you have any idea what sarcoidosis was or anything about it?
So I have to say, actually Scarlett and I were talking a little bit last night, and I said, you know, coming here, I feel like I used the word traumatized because I was probably just as traumatized and or a little bit more than her, because same kind of thing when we found out that Scarlett was very sick, and they braced us and they told us that she probably has lymphoma. And a lot of this stuff that I went through, I shielded it from Scarlett. So it was kind of like this isolating type of, you know, having all this information, but yet none of it was valid or researchable, right? Like, what is this word? What is this disease? You know, once she was diagnosed with a lung biopsy. But I think the most traumatic for me was actually watching my daughter become so sick and not being able to do anything for her. And we talked about a little bit about this last night, the guilt of being a parent and not being able to help her, you know, and even the doctors. And it began to be a fight for me to find out, you know, to find the best treatment team for her. And it was exhausting. So no, I never heard of sarcoidosis before this ever. I never heard of granulomas, none of that stuff, and nodules, all that good stuff. But yeah, so it was a very, very terrifying probably year until we found the treatment team. And even like I said, just to watch her and the struggle and the hurts, the pain that she went through and still does, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think you being there and being supportive as well and learning, I think that's you know, amazing.
Yeah, but so is she. I have to give her, I mean, she is the biggest warrior I've ever met in my life. So
oh, look at that smile. That's the beautiful moment.
No, my mom is the only reason why we're here. So I'm really glad that she's like listened to me. Yeah.
Support is everything. And it's really great that you have a mom that, like you said, listened to you, but not only just listened, but just took action.
Your advocate.
And as your, you know, your advocate to find out what was going on and what, you know, your own research. And, you know, Allison, I want to get back to the pukas. I know everybody's wanting the pukas. Well, because I know Allison 3 kids, puka 1, 2, and 3. And now you have a grandson. But I want to get back to them because they have been so instrumental in your support team arena too. So let's talk about that a little bit, about how, you know, your adult kids helped you
Well, it started, I was diagnosed a year after Christopher was born. So all of that, they have only known me with sarcoidosis because I was sick before I even had children. So they have grown up with, mama's taking medication, mama's got to take a nap. Mama can't work anymore. So now what is she going to do? You reinvent yourself. So they've seen all of that. And in spite of all of that, they have thrived in their own lives, but still find the time and the compassion and the love to take care of me.
It's okay. It's okay, Allison. I know how much they love you. I've met them before, so I know what they do and how much they adore you.
And they talk about me with this retreat, but they do have to work.
Right.
I just show up.
I think that's the beautiful part about loving someone who has a health condition. If you rally around each other, it can be this galvanizing team that becomes something. I remember when my kid's mom got diagnosed, she had a rare kidney condition, and my kids have pretty much the same, known this basically most of their life. And I think it's amazing, we're kind of watching multiple generations around the table. Is everybody has to find that support structure. So it's beautiful when your family rallies around you. And, I'm laughing because I see Scarlett and Kelly up front. So that's, we have mother, daughter, we have little ones coming into life, knowing that mom's always been sick. And then we have everybody around the table who comes from all these different backgrounds. But the reality is, it's about building your community and finding your way, right? And that's part of what this retreat is building community in a whole new way and giving each other support and knowledge and information. And it's just such a beautiful, it's a beautiful community being built.
And at the retreat, what is it doing for you, for your mental health? And how does this help you to manage your illness?
I've never met anybody with sarcoid before. Really, I mean, with especially a child, it's extremely rare. And the way that I don't present as a child, I present as an adult. So I can I've actually been able to connect with every one of you on a symptom level of if we've had the same symptoms. So I've really just learned that I'm gonna have this the rest of my life. But I see all these beautiful women and who've been able to get through this almost even though it's only been 2 years for you, but 30 years for you, Allison. But I know that I'm going to be able to get through it just like they have, and they've navigated their lives to it and been able to get through everything. So I know I'll be able to because of you guys.
Well, I'm the same as Scarlett. I have never personally, I found the support groups online, but I've never personally met anyone with sarcoid. Sorry. And so it's it's just amazing I guess I've felt, even though it's just been a couple of years, I've really felt like I was just kind of on an island by myself, and it's very lonely. Even people, your family, or people who love you, and they're trying to be there for you and be supportive, but they can't relate in any way. They see you going through it, but it's very different when you're actually the one going through it. So this is the first time that I've been able to sit around a table and be with people who do know what I'm going through. And even though each one of us, we're all little snowflakes, it's all a little different, but there's definitely some common ground. And I think that there is strength, like Scarlett said, just strength in numbers and knowledge. And I feel like even though I don't really know anybody at the table on one hand, but yet I feel like I do know everybody and we're going to probably be in contact for the rest of our lives, I'm assuming. And so that feels pretty amazing. I'm from a really small little rural town, and even doctors don't know what sarcoidosis is, or they haven't even heard of it. And that's pretty terrifying when the people that you're supposed to be trusting or that's very scary. And so going out, like Kelly said, going finding your team, finding your doctors, it was a full-time job. And then I'm so thankful for technology. I can't imagine, back when you guys were diagnosed, you and Allison, there wasn't all this technology. This is the only reason we're all sitting at this table together is because of technology. So if we didn't have the internet and Facebook and all these other things, we would never, ever, we would all still be kind of lonely, not knowing that there's people out there like us. I'm so beyond thankful that my body has cooperated, because when I first found out about the retreat and I first reached out to Allison, I was still pretty sick. I mean, I was getting better, but I still was having a really hard time walking, and I was on oxygen and all these things. And so since then, those have improved. And so it's made this whole thing so much easier for me. I still would have been here, with my oxygen and a walker, but I'm glad I'm not. So.
Hi,
Yeah.
Because you're the daughter of.
Hi.
Your daughter.
I am. And yes, thank you so much for asking my opinion. That's so nice of you.
Yes,
This
we
has
need
been
your.
so
I'm the
empowering
daughter
to
of
me.
someone
I
who's
feel
been
like
going through sarcoidosis. So
right on. Daughters of sarcoidosis. Here we are. Yes. And the people who love, I guess, I don't know. I feel like sarcoidosis took a lot from my family's. It took my dad. It took his vitality. It took my mom's happy retirement. It took my children's grandfather. I hate that. Nobody's even heard of it either. I have to explain it to every single person I've ever met. It's so frustrating. This is our opportunity. We come together, we share our energy, we share our resources, we share our passion to fight this disease and live every day just with absolute vibrance. And we're pushing back, we're taking back, we're reclaiming things that sarcoidosis has taken from us. We're shifting our perspectives. And to me, it's really empowering. I also feel like I am surprised at how I'm so inspired by the voices of the women that I've heard around the table, the young women, the women that have been living with this. I'm in awe. I'm inspired by your amazing bravery. I know you didn't choose this, but I feel like you articulate yourself so well. You are incredible. And I just want to encourage you to keep being incredible and help you keep being your vibrant selves.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for looking after your father's legacy and grandmother.
I
that means a lot.
Swear I heard a little. You go get him, baby.
That's right about it.
I'm Amy. I was diagnosed very luckily, very quickly. I honestly don't know how long I was, sick, but I got really, really sick in October of 2013. And at the time, my daughters were 6 and 5. So, suddenly I was a different mom. I was a different wife. I was just a different human being, just trying to survive. So it's taken a lot of energy over the years, but I'm very fortunate with the team I have locally that the pulmonologist I got connected to immediately identified it pretty quickly with the bronchoscopy, which is terrifying, but you got the answers. So I'm on year 11. I had a good solid 6 years and I thought I was in the clear, but was not. So the last 2.5 years I've been on just prednisone, high doses, tapered, back to high doses, tapered. And then suddenly I ended up with ITP, which is thrombocytopenia, which is really scary because your platelets in your body gets really, really low. And if you were to be cut or have any sort of internal bleeding, you can die. And so that responds to also high doses of prednisone. So the last 3 to 4 years I've been kind of battling both back and forth, but I'm not actively sick. So it's strange because, you know, you still kind of feel icky and you're still being treated, but you're not actively sick enough to really, I don't know, have anyone take too much notice, but you get through every single day. I work full time. My kids are now 17 and a half and 16, and they're just starting to understand, you know, what mom goes through. I'm really happy to be here with other people that understand exactly what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's very helpful.
Oh. Okay.
You were just diagnosed, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so how about you, if you don't mind, if you can just share a little bit of what you were going through prior to your diagnosis?
Well, it started off as just a cough that was dry, and I just couldn't get rid of it. No type of medicine was clearing it. And that started around May of last year. And from then, it went to headaches and blurred vision, and at one point, double vision. And I was out of work for like 8 months and back and forth to the doctor. It took a while to actually get a doctor visit, but I was back and forth to the ER, you know, with different type of symptoms, body pains. I didn't know what was going on. And still now, like, every time I feel something, I'm like, what is this causing? I'm like, what is it going to lead to something else? So it's like a nervous wreck.
Makes you paranoid.
Yep. Still trying to learn a lot. My brother actually has it as well, but he doesn't share. He's I'm a Christian as well, but he's like, I don't claim a disease, but he takes his medication. But yeah, he don't really talk about it. So I'm still trying to find like other resources. It's so new, but I'm just every day taking it one day at a time. And, just thinking about what's next.
Yeah, you have to take it one day at a time. And I'm curious to know whether or not any of you have like companions, you know, partners or married. And if that's the case, how did your partner, companion, spouse, you know, how did they take to that information in reference to you? And then how helpful were they? You know, did they believe you? Especially when, you know, we all know some of the symptoms people think we're faking and think that we're using that as an excuse because we don't want to do anything. So has anyone had that experience with someone that, you know, they're with?
I have a story.
Okay.
So I have always been like super, super productive. I've been called a, you know, workaholic, overachiever, all of that. So for me, it was a dramatic change when I got sick because I went from, you know, a 12-hour day was kind of a short day for me. And I went from that to it kind of, it wasn't overnight, but it kind of felt like overnight I couldn't get out of bed. So I had a boyfriend at the time who I thought was amazing. I thought we would get married. And when I first got sick, he lived in Boise, Idaho. So he lives about 4 hours away from me. And so when I first got sick, my sister called him. We were at the ER and they told me I had lymphoma And she called him and he came and he stayed for 4 days and he was awesome during that 4 days. He was cooking and taking me to doctor's appointments and like 4 days of just total support. You know, we're going to get through this. You're going to be to do. Stood in my bedroom. He said, "I'll be back." And that's the last time I saw him. So he did not come back. I think it was just so overwhelming to him. I don't know. I don't know what went through his mind. I don't know all of that, but I know that was the last time I saw him. But the crazy, crazy thing about it is I had an ex-boyfriend who I had been with for a few years. We had broken up and like I'm not, I don't like that very well. So I'm not somebody who I just don't cry easily. And called me and I just was holding on the phone. So he knew right away that it was, you know, something very serious because he had only seen me cry like 3 other times in my, you know, since when we were together. So he also lives in a different town. And he said, "I'm, you know, do you need anything? I'm coming up." And I said, no, you don't need to come. And he said, "No, I'm walking to my car right now." And so he drove up. He actually, I mean, we had broken up and we had moved on. So he said, "I'm coming up to see you." And I said, no, you don't have to, you know, come up. And he said, "No, I'm walking to the car." So he got up there and saw how sick I actually was because I couldn't walk to the bathroom by myself. And I was kind of pretty much bedridden. Anyway, he left without saying a word to me about any of this. He left my house and he went and he broke up with his girlfriend. And then he called me the next day and he said, "Is there anything you need from the store?" Because remember, I live in like rural area. So he lives in a bigger area where there's actual stores. So he was asking if I needed anything. And I said, no. And then I said, "Are you working today?" And he goes, "No, I'm coming up there." And he came up there and pretty much that was almost 2 years ago. He hasn't left. So yeah. So he kind of proved like, you know, we aren't married, but I know when you get married, one of your vows is usually like, you know, through sickness and health. And he really pretty much proved to me, you know, when he was having to give me a shower and do all kinds of other things that you never want to have anybody have to help you with. He pretty much proved to me that he'll take me at my worst. And it's really, really easy to be with somebody when things are going well and everything, you know, everybody's healthy and there's money and, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's easy to be with somebody, but when someone's going through complete hell, which I just mentioned money. So the other thing that happens, it happened to me, is not only are you terrified when you're diagnosed and you're so unbelievably sick and all of these other things, but then you're not able to work. I wasn't able to work. And so then you're thinking, am I going to go completely bankrupt? Am I going to lose everything I have? Although that's secondary to your health, your health is more important, but still that causes stress too, to not know, you know, a lot of my medications in the beginning weren't covered by insurance. And so I paid a ridiculous amount of money right off the bat for some medications. Well, one of the things I was misdiagnosed, they thought that I had blood clots all over. And so they put me on Eliquis, which is a blood thinner, and it's really, really expensive. And my insurance wasn't, for whatever reason, it didn't get approved, whatever. And I didn't care because I thought I had to have this medication to like live. So I paid all this money. And but in the back of your mind, like that's really, really stressful to not know how things are going to get paid for, if your bills are even going to get paid for, if you're going to be able to work, on top of feeling like garbage. And if you're a mom, like I was a single mom with kids, and then I'm worried about that whole, like, if I can't even take care of myself, how am I going to help take care of my kids? And just, there's so many pieces and parts to it. And I think the only thing, two things that got me through it, one is absolute God, because there is no possible way that I could have mustered up the strength to get through this without having faith. And the other thing is, please don't judge me, but I've never liked dogs. I mean, I'm not a bad person. I just never, I don't know. I never wanted a dog. I never had a dog. I like dogs. Dogs were kind of just annoying to me. But when I was really like about 6 months in, and I was just horribly sick, someone suggested that I get a dog, and I was like, "You're crazy! Like that's a responsibility. I can't even go to the bathroom myself. How am I going to take care of a dog?" Anyway, I ended up getting a dog, and that led to another dog. So I have two of the most amazing dogs named Bentley and Mercedes. And they're two little Yorkies. Yeah, little Yorkies. And I'm not even kidding you, that nobody on this earth could have explained to me, like, that has been my therapy big time. And I ended up having COVID right after I got little Bentley. She was my first one. So little Bentley was like 2 pounds. Aww. And I'd had her only about a month, and I got COVID. So then I was extra sick. And that little dog, she did not leave my side. She was right, like literally glued to me. And then I had to get her a baby sister. So they're just, my whole life is like, I don't even know who I am. I don't know what's going on, but I have these little babies that, you know, dress up in dresses and have bows, and they're just the sweetest things ever. And I miss them really bad right now.
That's actually,
love heals. I think point. That's it. Love heals.
You brought up a good point, because your life has changed in that way that you've embraced dogs. Has anyone else had any kind of like, you know, life, I don't want to say anything extreme, but like life altering, any little changes that you're like, honestly, I didn't think about that before I was sick, but now I'm sick, or, you know, have this, now I'm enjoying walks more, or something, like you don't realize the things you enjoy more.
I'll say something. So I have, like, since I'm 17, I'm in high school, I've had like a lot of like friend problems, just because it's really hard to go out and do like activities with my friends, and I'm just texting them like, "No, sorry, I'm gonna sleep today." But I had an incident where like 2 girls from my school were like talking about me, saying how I was making up my disease, and it wasn't like a true thing. I was just talking about it and like posting about it to get attention from other people. And that's kind of like when I heard that, I kind of changed like the way that I think, that like it's not about like the quantity of friends you have, and like the quantity of like how many people know about your disease and like care about you. It's about like the quality of like how good these people are that like you have in your life. So I only have like 3 really good friends right now that actually like support me and like are like, you know, it's okay if you just want to stay home today. Like, it's not a big deal, because and it doesn't matter like really what the other people think about you, especially because they don't know like what we've been through. So I guess, yeah.
That's
At your
super
age, that's
valuable. First of
good.
all, to
Yeah.
learn that at 17, I'm going to tell you, in a roundabout way, is a gift. And having worked with people your age for 25 years, I'm going to tell you, it's a gift because people at that age are teaching you that it's supposed to be about how many friends or being with a group. And what you find is the people who really matter. It's the quality of
Yeah.
the you share. It's not the quantity or the number of people around. So learning that at 17 in a roundabout way, I would tell you is a blessing. I know from our family experience, and I think this is probably true because you guys have kind of mentioned this, but I'd love for anybody who wants to, what's it like when people say things like that? Like this kind of denial of your sickness, right? You don't look sick. You know, oh, you should be able to do this, or it's an excuse because for everybody right now at this table, everybody understands what the truth is. But maybe for people listening who maybe haven't had that experience, maybe for them to understand and have some compassion, what's it like when people can't see your pain or your illness all the time, right? And don't understand and discount it or don't give you the empathy that you deserve.
So, throughout this sarcoidosis journey, I have been counted out time and time again. From the age of 18 and until around when I got sick, 30, I did private security work. And I also went to college for criminal justice. And so I've always kind of held one or two jobs. I've always been a hard worker, always been courageous and motivated. And at the age of 30, when I got sick, I started learning who my family and my friends really were. And I started getting some really weird things said to me, especially when my hip got replaced. And it definitely made me feel some type of way. It made me feel like being sick was like another disease by the way that people treated me. I've had things said to me like, well, you can't do that because of your hip, right? Or you can't come over here and hang out because you may have to go to the hospital and I can't get you to your medicine. I've Miss Dorothea knows I was in a relationship when I met her, and of course, I believe my sickness had something to do with basically being cheated on and left. And I've dealt with that quite a few times where I've been treated like my sickness is just everything. And I will point out throughout this journey, I've taken care of myself. So it's always kind of funny to me when I meet people and they feel like I'm a burden or I'm looking for them to take care of me, because Marcia has taken care of Marcia throughout this whole journey. And I'm a warrior. I mean, I fight through anything amongst any struggle that has come my way. And so I'll just say, like, being sick definitely has changed my life. It has changed the way people have treated me. And you learn a lot. You learn how to take care of yourself. You learn how to be your own friend, and you learn how to keep going, because your life is the life that you have to live. You have to take care of you no matter what. And I, throughout this journey, kind of started feeling like I'm not able to be loved, because nobody wants somebody that's sick. So I've just had to learn, those weren't the right people for me. And there's somebody out here for everybody, no matter what. But yeah, when that question came up, I've been through the struggle. I've had some of everything said to me that has discontinued who I am as a person. So all I can say is keep being you, keep being the warrior, and keep on trucking.
Marcia,
no matter what.
Can I first, you're lovable. And there's a room full of people with you right now who already see your value. And some of them haven't known you that long. This is my first time meeting you. I must say this as someone who was a partner to somebody who got sick. it didn't mean anything to me because the person was more important. But the truth is, we're all going to get sick at some point with something. We're all going to need other people along the way. And we all have to be warriors in our own space, right?
That's right.
And what I'll say to you is someone is going to be blessed to have a warrior like you by their side who understands, and the right person will understand that blessing. And there are people out there, and I say this as somebody who was one of those people. There was never a moment in my mind where I was like, this changes where I am. It's unfortunate that there are other people who take a lesser or a weaker path, although you just heard a beautiful story next to you of somebody else who heard and stepped in, right?
Absolutely.
And I hope that gives you the awareness. It's hard to keep your heart open in these scenarios, right? It's hard to know when to share the information because it's something we've talked about on other episodes, but I want you to know it's easy for us at times to start feeling unlovable when we have anything extra, right? But the truth is we all have extra stuff, and some of that extra stuff is part of the beauty of who we are. And the power.
I will say my fur babies have saved my life.
Yeah, I hear that too.
They love me wholeheartedly. You know, they just say, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, my fur babies have been there for me. I got 2 cats and they love me.
I get that.
That's right.
So Marcia just said something that like totally clicked with me. She said you have to be your own friend. So I think that in my case, and probably a lot of people, you are life is so busy and you're just like go, 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 living your life, doing your thing, that a lot of times you don't take the time to, and this kind of probably seems cheesy, but you don't take the time to like really get to know yourself. And this sickness, when you're laying in bed day after day, it gave me time to get to know myself and like who I really am. And it's weird because I'm 52 years old, but I feel like I know myself better now than I ever did before. And along with that comes all kinds of like your entire perspective changes, so all your priorities change. But I feel like my instinct when I got sick was to be kind of like a hermit, and just like some people, I've seen them when they get sick, they really reach out and share with everybody, which is awesome. But I did the opposite. I just absolutely became a hermit. And not only was I bedridden, but I really did not leave my house unless I had to go to a doctor's appointment I didn't drive for 10 months. And this is like somebody who's like crazy independent. So the first time I hopped into my car and I was able to drive, I thought, I am not ever turning back. Like, I'm going to drive across turn up the music, and I'm like out of here.
I also have to learn how to set boundaries. Used to always answer my phone, every email, every text message. There's got to be a time that you go into silent mode, only allow people into whatever times that you want to be available. And it's okay for them to go to the voicemail. It's okay to listen to voicemail. It's okay not to answer the phone. It's okay to say no. How many spoons, and everybody's heard of the spoon theory, how many spoons do you want to use in a day? I would like to have at least 3 or 4 spoons in reserve at all times. I refuse to run myself like I was running. So, and that's like one word of wisdom I say: set boundaries on what you allow into your space, because your space is important.
Is there anything, first of all, I just want to take a minute for all of us just to acknowledge the people that succumb to the illness. So if we could just take just a brief moment of silence for those people that we know were warriors and it just took their lives. Thanks. I think that's important for anyone that watches, that they know that their families know that we have not forgotten them. And that's important. So, on this note, Allison, what would you like to leave people or whoever's around the table? But what would you like to say to people that are watching, that are just diagnosed, that still going through it, or veterans? What would you say to the viewers and the listeners? What type of advice would you give them before we close on our show?
I would say, you know, there's always hope. There's hope for better treatment options. There's hope for a cure. There's hope for more compassion. There's hope. And there's always God in whatever form that you look at God as. You know, technology has come a long way. The medical community has come a long way. So just hang on. Tomorrow's a new day.
That's some great advice. And listen, to everyone that participated with us today on our beautiful Lovesick podcast, we are so grateful that you took the time out. You allowed us to interrupt your day of activities. And we send continued blessings to your health, continued blessings to your activities that Allison has prepared for you, and safe travels back to your destinations. So once again, thank you guys so much. We do appreciate you. And it's a pleasure to be able to see people that I do interact with. And it's just nice to see you guys. But keep on smiling, stay positive. You know, don't let people tell you what you can and cannot do. And like Allison say, use the word no. It's okay. It's okay to say no.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Okay, bye.